Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. We are going to be sharing everything that there is to see here in the beautiful Savannah, Georgia. So make sure that you stick around, tap that subscribe, and let's go adventuring in Savannah. Hi, I'm Cher, and I love sharing travel with you. If you love travel like I do, then make sure you pop that subscribe button, stick around, and let's see what adventures await us. Savannah, Georgia is so well known for its southern charm, Spanish moss, cobblestone streets, and historic architecture. We're going to go explore and see what all there is to do in Savannah when you are making a trip here. We first start off with the iconic Forsyth Park. And the famous fountain that you see here was installed in 1858, modeled after the Place de la Concorde in Paris. This is an iconic spot. Local artisans tend to line the streets here. A wonderful place for a stroll. Lots of weddings take place here as well. And it also opens up to a huge greenway. This is where a lot of people have picnics, play with their dogs, frisbee, hold concerts, you name it. And we do also happen to come upon the Civil War Memorial. You're going to find a lot of memorials and plaques all located throughout Savannah. But in particular, the Civil War one, we're going to take a little closer peek at. Lafayette Laws, Major General, Confederate States Army, died in Savannah. And as we are in the South, you're going to find monuments from Southern history. And we also find that this one is turned towards the north to face the enemies, which is the Union Army. You'll also notice that Savannah is made up of 22 squares. It used to be 24 squares, but they did lose 2. Each square is a public park, in essence, surrounded by different public structures and historic homes. The city was designed by James Oglethorpe. You'll see a lot of cobblestone streets, a lot of these square-like layouts that are very similar to what you find in England, where he was from. You will also notice a monument or some kind of history or someone who was buried in many of the squares. Here we have the Pulaski Monument, and General Pulaski was huge in Savannah history. We'll learn more in another video. And beautiful fountains, beautiful layouts. You'll find historic homes and architecture. You can visit a lot of the homes in many places throughout Savannah. Beautiful homes and tours. You can do a lot of the single tours. So we are going to be making a stop along the way as we visit some of these houses. How gorgeous. Look at the history. And we come to what is known as Monterey Square. Oh, okay. Synagogue. So this is Mikbi Israel. It is the oldest congregation to practice Judaism, Reform Judaism in the United States, right here in Savannah, Georgia. Then if you come to Madison Square, you will come to where General Sherman stayed for a time as he was marching through the South. It is actually where he stayed after his famous March to the Sea in Savannah. So you can do a tour both in the church that now owns the residence, which is the St. John's Church, and you can also visit inside this home, the Green Meldrum House. So we did do a tour, and we're going to bring you along to check it out for a moment. So the home belonged to Charles Greene, who did invite Sherman to stay with him. He had an ulterior motive, and that was to bargain for some of his cotton warehouses, hoping they would not be destroyed. So he allowed for General Sherman to stay in this very home. You see the open walkway as you come through, a typical floor layout for some of these old Savannah homes. And we walk into the front parlor, and we then step into a second room, like a library, a second parlor, and there are sketches that were made of Sherman standing in this very room. We next come to a big dining room. This is significant because there is a picture hanging over it that shows Sophie Meldrum. who was the daughter of the judge who later bought this house. What's significant about her is she helped put together and design the dress sent over by Chanel that Jackie Kennedy wore on the day of JFK's assassination. And in this very same dining room, we have sketches from Sherman, who would host dinner parties here in this very room. And on the second floor, you have this beautiful arch at the top, and then you have these beautiful cutout windows where they could sit and read, the bed where Charles Greene's son slept, and the room where Sherman himself stayed. And at the end of the tour, they have you sign the guest book, and they have framed where Colin Powell and Margaret Thatcher visited and signed the guest book as well. And here is the front porch area, just another pretty view in the front of the Greene Meldrum house. And next door, we can come over and peek inside the St. John's Church. They're the ones who now operate this home and have taken over a lot of the maintenance. Beautiful in there. Across the square is the Sorrel Weed House. A lot of people take tours of this home as well. Some fun history in this home. We did not tour it, but it is a popular one if you're interested in doing some of these home tours. It's right across from the Greene Meldrum home. And a few blocks down, you can visit the Juliette Gordon Low House. This was the founder of the Girl Scouts, so they do have a museum dedicated to her, and you can tour the home. We didn't do this one either, but we saw it from the outside, so a lot of history here. And of course, she was related to a lot of folks in the town. Everybody was kind of related to everybody in Savannah, Georgia. All right, guys, so we are in the famous Chippewa Square. This is the famous area where Forrest Gump was waiting for the bus, and so we have him over towards the north, but this is also an important spot where the Battle of 1812, a little skirmish that occurred here, Battle of Chippewa, I believe. Thus, Chippewa Square commemorates the valor of American arms in the Battle of Chippewa, 1813. Over here we have and I think we have a tour going on. It was really 1733. And of course, James Oglethorpe, who we mentioned earlier, is now here in this square as well. His statue, and he, as I said before, designed Savannah and founded the colony of Georgia as well. And he is the one responsible for the layout of a lot of what Savannah looks like today. Now, I don't believe that the Forrest Gump bench is still here. However, I think it was facing this way towards Bull Street before, and now they've moved it to the Savannah Museum, but this was where it was indeed shot. And I heard the bells ringing from this church earlier. Okay, we're visiting the History Museum. This is the Savannah Visitor Center. So the History Museum, I think, is inside. And here is the bench. This is part of what we were looking for, the Forrest Gump bench. Very cool. Okay, so you can see the way that it's turned facing the north. So you go through the visitor center and then you come through this little atrium area. I'm not sure where we're going. There's a little place to eat, a little cafe. History Museum. Ooh. The cotton gin, very important, established here. That, wow. Rail lines. Diorama of the attack on Spring Hill. More, a lot with the American Revolution and Savannah's part in it. And the Bird Girl statue that was made famous by the book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. We are going to take you next to that home. So this is the Mercer Williams house. This is the home of Jim Williams, who lived here and where the accused murder took place. So right now we're visiting the gift shop, but you can do tours. These tours were not available over 20 years ago when we came the first time, but they do offer tours. We're not allowed to take video because the Williams family actually lives upstairs and the downstairs is a museum. And this is located over off the Pulaski Square over by the Pulaski Monument.
I haven't done this in a month.
All right, we just finished the tour. They wouldn't let us take video or pictures, unfortunately. This is like my worst nightmare as a vlogger, is places that don't let me take pictures and video. How rude. But anyway, so the Williams family still lives on the top floor. So we can't go on the floor, but they open up the bottom floor for a museum. Fascinating to me. The ballroom is on the top floor too, where he held parties and is in the movie. We got to go in the room where the murder, or excuse me, the self-defense, I don't know, what they determined was self-defense happened, which is this window right here, the office. We got to see pictures. Pretty cool, pretty awesome. He also, they say it wrong in the movie. He did not die in the same room. He actually died going out on the front porch. So that is where Jim Williams actually ended up passing away, right there. Next we come to Wright Square. We've hit a lot of squares today. I'm glad. This is what I wanted to do, was kind of hit all of them. We've come to Tomo Chichi's grave. Tomo Chichi's grave. And here is the monument. Tribe of the Yamasee Indians, Lower Creek, buried in this square. James Oglethorpe called him a friend of the colony. Right, we are coming up on Johnson Square. And now we're getting in the part of close to the river, where I believe we're close to like City Hall.
Yep, that's City Hall.
Yep, there's City Hall. It has the gold top. You can't see it quite yet. And there we have the City Hall right there. Cornerstone for the Nathaniel Green Monument. John Wesley. And there it is. This is where Washington, Reverend Wesley. Nathaniel Green Monument. And it said that the Lafayette paved the way, though, to put this monument up. All right, we have to go down the stairs to get to River Street. Kind of down the alleyway. And we come out down here.
I know you can go further down that way.
And we come out down this way. And yes, indeed, here is the river. So we're at River Street now. Gonna see if we can get some food. Go ahead and get a little late lunch. River Street is essentially your place for shopping and dining, but this was of course the historic area where they first came in when Oglethorpe first arrived. Many of the buildings along here were all cotton warehouses when the cotton was booming. Okay, what is this called? The Colonial Cemetery. So we've got some founding fathers buried here. We got to check out. This is very historic. Obviously everything's historic. I keep saying that. Ooh, we have the green yellow fever epidemic of 1820 were buried here. Nearly 700 Savannahans died, including the physicians who lost their lives taking care of them. Terrible. Here's the cemetery. I wonder if our ghost tour will take us through here at night. Let's see where to start. Very same. Green, that we have the monument and his big part in the Revolutionary War is buried here. Duelist grave. Another place to tour of note is visiting the cathedrals. This is the Cathedral of St. John. They do let you come inside to do tours, but we always kept coming back during Mass. So if you come during Mass, they won't let you in, but come around it and you'll be able to see inside. It is currently under construction, obviously, on the outside. And of course, you can always take a city tour. We did do a trolley for horse-drawn carriages. That might be our ride. All right, we're gonna start our ghost carriage tour. Ooh, here we are.
Okay,
Here we
how's
go.
everyone's night going so far?
Great.
We ride the Amish to be used as a riding / pulling horse. So of unmarked sites from the year 1820 with our malaria epidemic. I know a lot about this because once again my and then find line to fight your niche. Now you lose your.
And one of the coolest things we learned on this ghost tour is how Nathaniel Green hated Spanish moss. But of course, Spanish moss was everywhere in Savannah, Georgia. Every square had it, but the only square that does not have it now is his square, where he is buried under his monument. So it is thought that perhaps he's haunting from the grave, keeping the Spanish moss away. Okay, we're gonna do the Old Town Trolley Tour now. We've done this one 20 years ago, but we're gonna do it again because I can't remember everything.
In and out, they could live in offices and classrooms. Congregation was established in the 1770s. That church building was built in finished in 1859. It was built by slaves from Marsh. You see them right there. The Joneses. Well, may have originated in Savannah because people live on Jones Street. The bells was written in the church up there. They probably have a historical marker too, who knows? But we claim it. Jacob Bell's written right over there.
All right, friends, we are going to wrap it up here. I hope that gave you some great ideas of all the things you could do in Savannah, Georgia. Make sure you continue to stick around and pop that subscribe because we're going to bring you a few more videos on Savannah, including places to eat, as well as some of the history and important figures of note. So hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.